Good morning and welcome to Kalinga Stadium, Bhubaneshwar for witnessing the morning session events of Day 3 of the 58th National Open Athletics Championships. On track, we are about to take the heptathlon for women competitors. That was the start of 100-meter hurdles, race 1 for women heptathlon athletes. And as we could witness, it happens to be Lixie Joseph of Railways to finish on top with bib number 606. In the just concluded first heat of 100-meter hurdles for heptathlon athletes, we had a 254 Komal of Haryana, 605 VK Anila Jose of Railways, 431 Sakshi Pagnis of Maharashtra, 362, and that is the replay for you. And there you could see Lixie Joseph coming on top. 362 Marina George of Kerala and 606 Lixie Joseph of Railways. We have one more race to go. In the second race of 100-meter hurdles, it will be 594 Soumya of Railways, 878 Trisha Dar of West Bengal, 160 Ankita Gupta of Chhattisgarh, 787 K. Vembarasi of Tamil Nadu, 376 Elena Vincent of Kerala. Of Maharashtra with 15.92 seconds for the fourth place, Komal of Haryana with 20.55 seconds for the fifth place. Next on track will be the second race of 100-meter hurdles for heptathlon athletes. That was the start of the second race of 100-meter hurdles for women heptathlon athletes. And you could see it is Soumya of Railways well ahead of the other athletes. And for the second spot, it appears to be Alina Vincent of Kerala. And that is the action replay where Soumya of Railways is well ahead, leaving the other athletes behind. And as far as the second race is concerned, it is Soumya of Railways with 15.03 seconds. Alina Vincent of Kerala with 15.88 seconds for the second spot. Vembarasi of Tamil Nadu with 16.33 seconds for the third spot. Trisha Dar of West Bengal with 16.67 seconds for the fourth spot. And Ankita Gupta of Chhattisgarh with 23.16 seconds for the fifth spot. And as far as this is concerned, first race happens to be a faster one, with two of the athletes finishing well with good timing than the first place winner of the second race.
The prestige awaits you. The heritage awaits you. The adventure awaits you. The experience awaits you. India's smartest city awaits you. India's sports capital awaits you. Odisha Hockey Men's World Cup 2018, November 28 to December 16. Bhubaneshwar awaits you. The prestige awaits you. The heritage awaits you. The adventure awaits you. The experience awaits you. India's smartest city awaits you. India's sports capital awaits you. Odisha Hockey Men's World Cup 2018, November 28 to December 16. Bhubaneshwar awaits you. The prestige awaits you. The heritage awaits you. The adventure awaits you. The experience awaits you. India's smartest city awaits you. India's sports capital awaits you. Odisha Hockey Men's World Cup 2018, November 28 to December 16. Bhubaneshwar awaits you. The prestige awaits you. The heritage awaits you. The adventure awaits you. The experience awaits you. India's smartest city awaits you. India's sports capital awaits you. Odisha Hockey Men's World Cup 2018, November 28 to December 16. Bhubaneshwar awaits you. prestige awaits you. The heritage awaits you. The adventure awaits you. The experience awaits you. India's smartest city awaits you. India's sports capital awaits you. Odisha Hockey Men's World Cup 2018, November 28 to December 16. Bhubaneshwar awaits you. The prestige awaits you. The heritage awaits you. The adventure awaits you. The experience awaits you. India's smartest city awaits you. India's sports capital awaits you. Odisha Hockey Men's World Cup 2018, November 28 to December 16. Bhubaneshwar awaits you. The prestige awaits you. The heritage awaits you. The adventure awaits you. The experience awaits you. India's smartest city awaits you. India's sports capital awaits you. Odisha Hockey Men's World Cup 2018, November 28 to December 16. Bhubaneshwar awaits you. The prestige awaits you. The heritage awaits you. The adventure awaits you. The experience awaits you. India's smartest city awaits you. India's sports capital awaits you. Odisha Hockey Men's World Cup 2018, November 28 to December 16. Bhubaneshwar.
And next on track will be 800 meters, heats for women competitors, in which we'll be witnessing 3 heats. Qualifying round for Group 1 men competitors of javelin is also about to be taken up in a very short time from now. And on track we'll be having 3 heats of 800 meters for women. For the first heat, we have 496 Harmilan Baines of ONGC, 363 Jesse Joseph of Kerala, 601 Lily Das of Railways, 169 Radha Chowdhury of Delhi, 843 Pramila Yadav of Uttar Pradesh, and 108 Sonia Mokil of All India Police. Athletes moving on to the start point of 800 meters to take up the heat number 1. That was the start of the first heat of 800 meters for women competitors. 6 of the athletes are taking part in the first heat of 800 meters. And at present it is Lily Das who is leading the pack. Lily Das of Railways. And close to her is Jesse Joseph of Kerala. Pramila Yadav of Uttar Pradesh is also along with them, while we have 108 Sonia Mokil of All India Police at the 4th spot at present. And in the fifth place, it is Radha Chowdhury of Delhi. And at the last, it is Harmilan Bains of ONGC. Jesse Joseph of Kerala picks up. Lily Das is also not prepared to give up her position. She is trying to put herself in front. Lily Das of Railways moves ahead with Pramila Yadav of Uttar Pradesh in the second spot at present as they execute the curve and enter the home stretch. Lily Das is picking up. Lily Das of Railways moves well ahead, having Radha Chowdhury of Delhi for the second spot. She is so comfortable. And for the third spot, we have Sonia Mukil of All India Police. And there is Lily Das of Railways who predicted the race very correctly. She was all along moving in the bunch and almost in the first or second spot. And in the last 200 meters, she had opened and she was very comfortable as she reaches the finish line of 800 meters. And there is the result called Lily Das of Railways with 2 minutes 13.20 seconds. Radha Chowdhury of Delhi with 2 minutes 14.25 seconds. And Sonia Mukil for the third place from All India Police with 2 minutes 14.66 seconds. And for the second heat, we have 609 K. Aparna of Railways, 107 Sridevi Maitri of All India Police, 788 M. Gomati of Tamil Nadu, 173 Divya Pandey of Delhi, 499 Twinkle Chowdhury of ONGC, 140 Sugandha Kumari of Bihar, and 706 Sukhwant Kaur of Rajasthan. That was the start of the second heat of 800 meters for women competitors. 7 of the athletes are in the competition for the second heat. And now they are moving on to the first line. And that happens to be Twinkle Chowdhury of ONGC. Twinkle Chowdhury of ONGC is entering the straights, keeping all the athletes very much away. She is moving on. With Twinkle Chowdhury of ONGC being the leader, it is Divya Pandey of Delhi at present at the second spot, M. Gomati of Tamil Nadu in the third spot. Excepting Twinkle Chowdhury of ONGC, all other remains as a bunch. And as far as the race is concerned, I hope it will be getting heated up in the straights. And that is Twinkle Chowdhury of ONGC still moving in front, having the bunch a little away, 15 meters away. And as she enters the home stretch, Twinkle Chowdhury of ONGC is so comfortable. M. Gomati of Tamil Nadu putting up for the second place. While Aparna K. of Railways finished for the third spot. Twinkle Chowdhury of ONGC, having taken the early lead, she was able to maintain, and very comfortably she is moving towards the finish line of 800 meters. And there comes the result for the second heat. Twinkle Chowdhury of ONGC clocked 2 minutes 10.35 seconds. Gomati of Tamil Nadu for the second spot with 2 minutes 12.09, and 2 minutes 12.89 seconds is the timing clocked by K. Aparna of Railways for the third spot. And the second heat happens to be a faster one when compared to the first one. In the first heat, the first place winner clocked a timing of 2 minutes 13.20 seconds, while the second happens to be the fastest so far with 2 minutes 10.35 seconds. And for the third heat, we have K. Priya of Railways, Neha of Delhi, Archana Adav of Maharashtra, Therese Joseph of Kerala, Komal Chowdhury of Haryana, and Sayali Kishore of ONGC. That was the start of the third heat of 800 meters for women. 6 of the athletes are in the third heat. 6 competed in the first heat, 7 in the second, and now 6 in the third one. And that happens to be Neha of Delhi, who is in the front. Along with her, we do have Kamal Chaudhary of Haryana. Following them is Terisha Joseph of Kerala. All moving as a bunch together as they'll be completing their first lap. Kamal Chaudhary of Haryana is a little ahead. Along with her is Neha of Delhi, and Kamal Chaudhary is trying to overtake Neha. Neha not giving up, both are moving together. Kamal Chaudhary is a little ahead and she moves on, leaving Neha to the fourth spot. Still moving as a bunch. It is Kamal Chaudhary of Haryana who is in the front, and that happens to be Archana Adav who is moving to the front. Archana Adav of Maharashtra. And it appears to be Archana Adav of Maharashtra to finish on top, leaving K. Priya of Railways to the second spot. And there you could see, towards the finish line, almost all are coming together, and Archana Adav so it happens here to be a tough tussle between Archana Adav and K. Priya to grab the first spot. There again we could see how they are moving towards the finish line of 800 meters in the third heat. We'll have to wait for the results, whether it is K. Priya or Archana Adav to take the first place. And there comes the scorecard, K. Priya of Railways grabbing the first place with a timing of 2 minutes 13.160 seconds, while Archana Adav of Maharashtra is at the second spot with 2 minutes 13.60 seconds almost. As far as the timing is concerned, both of them finished together. Neha of Delhi in the third spot with 2 minutes 13.65. And while comparing the second heat of 800 meters, wherein Twinkle Chowdhury of ONGC finished with a timing of 2 minutes 10.35 seconds, happens to be the fastest one. And next comes the first heat, first place winner Lily Das of Railways, who had finished with 2 minutes 13.20 seconds. And after that only, it is the third heat with K. Priya as well as Archana Adav, K. Priya of Railways and Archana Adav of Maharashtra, clocking 2 minutes 13.60 seconds. Following this, we have heats of 800 meters for men. And in the men's section, we will be witnessing 3 heats. Next on track will be 800 meters for men, in which we will be witnessing 3 heats. And as far as heat number 1 is concerned, we have 797 Mujamil of Tamil Nadu, 317 Harpreet Shira of Haryana, 739 Lijomani of Services, 713 Ramdev of Rajasthan, 890 Sashi Bhushan Singh of West Bengal, 688 Bian Singh of Railways, 536 Manjit Singh of ONGC, and 356 Mijo Chako Korean of Karnataka. That was the start of the first heat of 800 meters for men. Six of the athletes are moving in the first heat of 800 meters for men. And that happens to be 739 Lijomani of Services, who is moving well ahead of the other athletes. And at present, for the second spot, it is Sashibhushan Singh of West Bengal. Lijomani of Services well ahead of the other athletes. Sashibhushan Singh of West Bengal is in the second spot at present, having Bian Singh of Railways in the third spot. And in the fourth at present, is 797 Mujamil of Tamil Nadu. Lijomani of Services moves ahead and the bunch is trying to catch him. And that is Sashibhushan Singh of West Bengal, who is about to overtake him. The race is getting toughened up and it is Sashibhushan Singh enters the straights as the leader, and Bian Singh of Railways steals and moving further ahead to finish on top. And for the third spot, we have Mujamil of Tamil Nadu. And there you could see Bian Singh of Railways moving well ahead, leaving Sashibhushan Singh of West Bengal to the second spot, and Mujamil of Tamil Nadu to the third spot. And closely with him, for the sports spot happens to be Lijomani of Services. Lijomani, who was almost leading for 1.5 laps, was placed fourth. And there comes the result card with Bian Singh of Railways clocking a timing of 1 minute 51.69 seconds, while Sashibhushan Singh of West Bengal with 1 minute 52.00 seconds and Mujamil of Tamil Nadu with 1 minute 52.12 seconds. As they move on, we have Raj Kumar of Delhi, Benjamin Daniel of Tamil Nadu, Mohammad Afzal of Services, Baljit Singh of Punjab, T.H. Devi of Karnataka, Rinku of Haryana, Ajesh Kumar of Chandigarh, Vishambar Kolekar of Railways, Praveen Rana of Goa, Praveen of Jharkhand. And that happens to be the start of the second heat of 800 meters for men competitors. Nine of the athletes are taking part in the second heat of 800 meters. While it appears to be Raj Kumar of Delhi moving in the front, and there is a overtake. And it is a Praveen of Jharkhand leading the pack. Praveen of Jharkhand moves ahead, having Raj Kumar of Delhi for the second spot, and Benjamin Daniel of Tamil Nadu at the third spot. And Benjamin is moving to the fifth spot now as there is a heavy overtake. And it appears to be Muhammad Afzal of Services who is putting himself in front. And that is Muhammad Afzal of Services well ahead, having 660. Vishambar Kolekar of Railways at the second spot, and Benjamin Daniel of Tamil Nadu in the third spot. Muhammad Afzal finishes on top, having Vishambar Kolekar at the second spot and Benjamin Daniel at the third spot. There you could see Muhammad Afzal moving ahead very comfortably, having no threat closer to him. And that's the result card for Muhammad Afzal of Services for having clocked 1 minute 52.70 seconds. While Vishambar Kolekar of Railways with 153.87. As far as this is concerned, first heat happens to be a faster one, with four of the athletes finishing with a better timing than the first place winner of the second heat. And as far as the third heat is concerned, it is Jeevan Saran of Tamil Nadu, Pavandip Yadav of Uttar Pradesh, Mohan Yadav of Services, Velayudan of Railways, Nikhil Arora of Chandigarh, Narayan Kumar of Goa, Umesh Sharma of Haryana, Mohammad Shakil of West Bengal, and Rai Baske of Jharkhand. That was the start of the third heat of 800 meters for men competitors. 9 of the athletes are in the competition. And that appears to be Mohammad Shakil of West Bengal, who is in the front. Mohammad Shakil of West Bengal leads the pack, with Nikhil Arora of Chandigarh in the second spot at present, and Ray Baske of Jharkhand in the third spot, having Jeeva Saran of Tamil Nadu in the fourth spot at present. Still they are moving together as a bunch, with Mohammad Shakil of West Bengal in the front. And there occurs a overtake. As they execute the last curve, there is a stiff competition between 4 of the athletes. It is V. Vellayathevan of Railways who is putting himself in front. Jeeva Saran moves and he falls over there. It is between Jeeva Saran and Mohan Yadav. Jeeva Saran of Tamil Nadu and Mohan Yadav of Services for the second and third spot. As you could see, the leader comfortably finishes, and probably Jeeva Saran will be getting only the third place as he fell down near the finish line. Just crossing the finish line. B. Vellayathevan of Railways was so comfortable in securing the first place in the third heat of 800 meters for men. As 3 heats of 800 meters for men got over, at 8:50 we will be having the heats of 200 meters for women, in which we will be witnessing 3 heats. Following that, at 9:20, the heats of 200 meters for men will be taken up, in which we will be witnessing 5 heats. And in the morning session today, we do have the 400 meter hurdles heats for women, followed by 400 meter hurdles heats for men. In the 400-meter hurdles heats for women, we have 2, while in the men's section, we have 3 heats. And that happens to be the results for the third heat, while V. Vellayathevan of Railways had clocked the timing of 1 minute 52.00 seconds, with Mohan Yadav of Services for the second spot with 1 minute 52.52 seconds, and Jeevan Saran of Tamil Nadu with 1 minute 52.54 seconds for the third spot. And as far as the 3 heats of 800 meters in the men's section is concerned, the first one happens to be the fastest with 1 minute 51.69 seconds, being timed by Bian Singh of Railways. And next comes the third heat with 1 minute 52.00 seconds, where Vellayathevan of Railways got the first place. And only after that it is the second heat with 1 minute 52.70 seconds with Muhammad Afzal of Services. And that happens to be the high jump for heptathlon athletes. And that is K. Vembarasi of Tamil Nadu. उधर से उधर से मिलेगा हाँ ठीक है ब्रेकफास्ट Ladies and gentlemen, next on track will be the heats of 200 meters. In the women's section, we will be witnessing 3 heats. Ladies and gentlemen, next on track will be 200 meter heats for women. We will be witnessing 3 heats. And that is Soumya of Railways, who is about to take up her trial in high jump for the event heptathlon. She was so comfortable in clearing. That was the start of the first heat of 200 meters for women competitors. As they enter the home stretch, it happens to be Reena George of Karnataka to finish on top. As you could see, Reena George of Karnataka is well ahead of the other athletes, having more than 5 meters. And for the second spot, we have Sonal Chawla of Railways. And that happens to be the result card of the first heat, with Reena Judge getting the first place with 24.10 seconds. Sonal Chawla for the second place with 24.70 seconds. And Rosalind Lewis of Maharashtra with 24.75 for the third spot. For the second heat of 200 meters in the women's section, we have 881 Rajeshri Mondal of West Bengal, 610 Priyanka Kalagi of Railways, 349 Yam Likita of Karnataka, and 366 K Manju of Kerala. That was the start of the second heat of 200 meters for women competitors. And that happens to be Yamlitika of Karnataka, who was so comfortable leaving Priyanka Kalagi for the second spot. As we could see, Yamlitika of Karnataka is moving ahead to finish on top, and that is the place where she overtakes Priyanka Kalagi of Railways. And for the third place, we have Rajshri Mandal of West Bengal. Yamlitika in the second heat timed 24.92 seconds, who is from Karnataka. Priyanka Kalagi of Railways with 25.03 seconds for the second spot, and Rajshri Mandal of West Bengal with 25.43 seconds for the third spot. And so far now, the first one happens to be the fastest one, with all the three timing better than the first place winner of the second heat. As far as the first heat, it is 24.10 seconds, 24.70 seconds, and 24.75 seconds. And there you could see the second heats of 200 meters. That is where Litika Yam was able to finish on top. We had 5 athletes in the first heat of 200 meters for women, while 4 in the second. And in the third heat, which is about to be taken up, we have 6 athletes. And for this heat, we have Rita Kumari of Uttar Pradesh, Harika Devi of Telangana, A. Chandralekha of Tamil Nadu, Anvesha Rai Pradhan of West Bengal, Deandra Valadares of Maharashtra, H.R. Navami of Karnataka, and Neetu Prajapati of Madhya Pradesh. That was the start of the third heat of 200 meters for women. And that is Rita Kumari of Uttar Pradesh, well ahead of the other athletes. Rita Kumari of Uttar Pradesh finishing on top. Sorry, I would like to stand corrected. It happens to be Chavi Sharabat of Railways. That is Chavi Sharabat of Railways, clocking 24.37 seconds for the first spot. Harika Devi of Telangana for the second spot with 24.71 seconds. And Anvesha Roy Pradhan of West Bengal with 25.13 for the third spot. That is Group 2 qualifying round for men competitors of javelin throw.
ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಕೊಡ್ತದೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬಂದ ಎಂತ ಸಿಕ್ಸ್ತ್ ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ
Ladies and gentlemen, next on track will be 200 meters for men. In the men's section of 200 meters, we are about to witness 5 heats. And that was the start of the first heat of 200 meters for men competitors. And that is Akash Kumar of Railways to be on top. As we could see, Akash Kumar in lane number 4 moving ahead towards the finish. With Abhijit Nair of Manipur for the second spot and K. Ashok of Services for the third spot. And S. Rishwant of Tamil Nadu finished 4th. Ladies and gentlemen, as far as the men's section of 200 meters is concerned, with one heat got over, we have 4 more heats to go. As we are about to take up the second heat of 200 meters for men, we have 335 Guni Vasant Raj Naidu of Jharkhand, 757 Sanjeet of Services, 357 MJ Ashwin of Karnataka, 195 Amarjit Kumar of Delhi, 488 Amia Kumar Malik of Odisha, 884 Tanmay Chakraborty of West Bengal, 288 Rohit of Haryana, 822 J. Nimesh of Telangana. And that happens to be the result card for the first heat. Akash Kumar of Railways finishing with 21.95 seconds for the first spot. That was the start of the second heat of 200 meters for men competitors. And it happens to be Akash Kumar Malik who was so comfortable and finishing on top. As we could see over there, it is Akash Kumar Malik who is finishing on top. Leaving Sanjeet of Services for the second spot and MJ Ashwin of Karnataka for the third spot. And there is 21.71 seconds being timed by Akash Kumar Malik to grab the first place. Sanjeet of Services with 22.00 seconds. MJ Ashwin of Karnataka with 22.07 seconds. As far as the third heat is concerned, it is Emmanuel Pal of Madhya Pradesh, Sharat Shetty of Manipur, Shabazz Khan of Maharashtra, Rijol Mullah of West Bengal, Adesh Garsa of Goa, Sudhakar Chinta of Railways, Gurlal Singh of Punjab, and Shashank Shinde of Chhattisgarh. The third heat of 200 meters for men is about to be taken up on track. The stage is set for the start of the third heat of 200 meters in the men's section. Eight athletes are there in the third heat. Emmanuel Pal of Madhya Pradesh, who was in lane number 1, is out of the race for the foul. That was the start of the third heat of 200 meters for men competitors. And that happens to be Gurlal Singh, who is in front. Gurlal Singh of Punjab finishes on top. Gurlal Singh of Punjab on top, and for the second spot it is Adesh Garza of Goa. Gurlal Singh of Punjab clocked the timing of 21.98 seconds to get the first position, while it is Adesh Garza of Goa with 22.11 seconds and Rijal Mullah of West Bengal with 22.58 seconds. Two more heats to go for 200 meters in the men's section. For the fourth heat, we have Vidyasagar of Services, Akshay Balakna Padatre of Manipur, Yuvraj Singh of Punjab, R. Rahul of Kerala, Pratik Ninave of Maharashtra, Rahul Mohanta of Delhi, and Natwar Singh of Chandigarh. That was the start of the fourth heat of 200 meters for men. And that happens to be Vidyasagar of Services on top, leaving R. Rahul of Kerala to the second spot. From outside, Vidyasagar of Services finished on top with R. Rahul from Kerala from lane number 5 finishing for the second spot. And that is the timing of Vidyasagar of Services with 22.08 seconds, while R. Rahul of Kerala had clocked 22.23 seconds, and Pratik Ninave of Maharashtra with 22.25 seconds. We have one more heat to go for the men competitors of 200 meters, as that will be getting over. Round 1 of 400 meter hurdles for women will be taken up, in which we will be witnessing 2 heats. Following that, it will be round 1 for men competitors of 400 meter hurdles, in which we will be witnessing 3 heats. And that is the results of 20,000 meter walk for women. Ravina of Haryana in the first place with 1 hour 42 minutes 32.00 seconds. Priyanka of Railways for the second spot with 1 hour 45 minutes 32.00 seconds. And Vandana of Chandigarh for the third spot with 1 hour 49 minutes 25.0 seconds. That was the start of the fifth heat of 200 meters for men. And that happens to be Maniganda Aramugam of Railways to be on top. That is the place where Maniganda Aramugam is taking a lead over the other athletes. And for the second spot, it happens to be Suhasya Gowda of Karnataka. Maniganda Aramugam had clocked a timing of 22.10 seconds. Suhasya Gowda of Karnataka with 22.23 seconds. And Safikul Mandal of West Bengal with 22.37 seconds. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have two more heat events to go for the morning session of the third day. On track next will be 400 meter hurdles, round 1 for women, in which we will be witnessing 2 heats. Following that, we have 2 more events to go, which will be 400 meter hurdles, round 1 for women, to be followed by 400 meter hurdles, round 1 for men competitors. In the women's section, we will be witnessing 2 heats, while in the men's section, it will be 3 heats. With that, we'll be coming to the close of the morning session of the third day, and our evening session will start right at 4:30 p.m. with a final of discus throw for women, followed by pole vault, final for women, hammer throw, final for men. At 5:30, it will be 400 meter hurdles, semi-final for men. At 5:45 p.m., it will be shot put for women heptathlon athletes. At 6 p.m., the final of long jump for men competitors. At 6 p.m., we do have the semi-final of 200 meters for men, followed by 200 meters semi-final, 200 meters for women heptathlon athletes. At 6:40, it will be the final of men for the event shot put. At 6:50, the final of 5,000 meters for men. At 7:10, it will be 5,000 meters final for women. At 7:45, it will be 4 times 100 meters relay for women, which will be final. At 8 p.m., we'll be taking up the final of 4 times 100 meters relay for men. At 8:30 p.m., it will be the round 1 heats of men for 4 times 400 meters relay, and as the last event for today in the evening session, it will be 4 times 400 meters relay for women, which will be round 1. That was the start of the first heat of 400-meter hurdles for women. And that is Anju Rani of Railways, who is well ahead of the athletes, having Veerpal Kaur of Punjab for the second spot. And for the third, we have J. Divya of Tamil Nadu. As you could see, Anju Rani of Railways is comfortably ahead of the athletes, being in lane number 2. Following her is Veerpal Kaur of Punjab from lane number 6. As far as the second heat is concerned, it is Rahida Khatun of West Bengal in lane number 2. Lane number 3, Aina Thomas of All India Police. Lane number 4, Arpita of Railways. Lane number 5, P.O. Sayana of Kerala. Lane number 6, Tiyasha Samader of Railways. Lane number 7, Veerpal Kaur of Punjab. Lane number 8, Sayako Ayoki of AFI. That was the start of the second heat of 400 meter hurdles for women. And that is Sayaka Ayoki of Athletics Federation of India moving ahead. Veerpal Kaur of Punjab is closely moving to her. And that happens to be Sayako Ayoki of AFI, who is well ahead of the other athletes. And for the second spot, we have Arpita. And it was Sayako Ayoki of AFI who finished on top, leaving Arpita of Railways for the second spot. They execute the final curve, and they too. Sayako Ayoki of AFI is very comfortable with a considerable lead. And from lane number 4, it is Arpita finishing for the second spot. From lane number 7, Veerpal Kaur of Punjab finishing for the third spot. Ladies and gentlemen, next on track will be 400 meter hurdles, round 1 for men competitors. We will be witnessing 3 heats in round 1. That was the start of the first heat of 400-meter hurdles for men. That is K. Satish of Tamil Nadu moving in front, and catching him up happens to be MP Jabir of Services. And it is MP Jabir of Services who is comfortably ahead of other athletes. And that is MP Jabir finishing on top, having K. Satish of Tamil Nadu for the second spot. As we could see in the last curve, it was MP Jabir who was comfortably ahead, having K. Satish of Tamil Nadu for the second spot. Without any threat, moving so cool towards the finish line. MP Jabir had clocked a timing of 52.58 seconds, while K. Satish of Tamil Nadu had timed 53.72 for the second spot, and S. Suresh of Puducherry had clocked 59.05 seconds for the third spot. We are about to take up the second heat of 100-meter hurdles for men. 6 of the athletes are in the second heat. That was the start of the second heat of 400-meter hurdles for men. Aftab Alam of Uttar Pradesh picks up Aftab Alam is well ahead of the other athletes, having Jashnot Singh of Railways by his left. And that is the point where Jashnot Singh picks up and finishes on top. Jashanjot Singh of Railways finishes on top, leaving Aftab Alam of Uttar Pradesh to the second spot. And till the curve, it was Aftab Alam who was so comfortable. As you see over there, it was Aftab Alam who cleared first, and by the left he is having Jashanjot Singh. And here too, this is the point where Jashanjot Singh of Railways is picking up towards the finish point, finishing first, leaving Aftab Alam of Uttar Pradesh to the second spot. And that happens to be a timing of 51.64 seconds for Jashanjot Singh of Railways. Aftab Alam of Uttar Pradesh had clocked 51.72 seconds. T. Santosh Kumar of Services with 52.80 seconds for the third spot. We are about to take up the last event for the morning session of the third day, the third heat of 400-meter hurdles for men. And our afternoon session, that is evening session, will start right at 4:30 p.m. with a final of discus throw for women, followed by final of pole vault for women, final of hammer throw for men, semi-final of 400-meter hurdles for men, and other events. And the last event today will be taken up at 9 p.m. which will be 4 times 400 meters relay, round 1 for women competitors. That was the start of the third heat of 400-meter hurdles for men. In this heat, we have an Asian silver medalist, Darun Ayyasamy, in lane number 5, representing ONGC. He happens to be the silver medal winner in the recently concluded Asian Games as they execute the last curve. It happens to be Darun Ayyasamy who is in the lead. Darun Ayyasamy finishing on top, leaving V.S. Malik of Services for the second spot.
சரிங்க அப்புறம் இதெல்லாம் ஃபார்ம் ஃபில் அப் பண்ணி கொடுத்துட்டியா ஆமாம் இன்னைக்கு கொடுத்துட்டேன் ஓகே ஓகேம்மா ஓகே
For the third heat, Darun Ayyasamy of ONGC had clocked a timing of 51.58 seconds, while V.S. Malik of Services with 52.07 and Amit Kumar Singh of Railways with 52.69. Well, with this we are coming to the close of the morning session of the third day, and our evening session will begin right at 4:30 p.m.
The prestige awaits you. The heritage awaits you. The adventure awaits you. The experience awaits you. India's smartest city awaits you. India's sports capital awaits you. Odisha Hockey Men's World Cup 2018, November 28 to December 16. Bhubaneshwar awaits you.